Hello everyone and welcome back to Top 7 Rec, where we dive into the world of entertainment and enjoy together. In this video, we'll count down our top 7 picks for the best fantasy web novels to read. I've always had my nose in web novels, I can never stop reading them. I even got a chance to read some of your suggested ones, and I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate it. Now, let's begin. Number 7. Reincarnation of the Strongest Sword God. I finished reading this one after about 2 or 3 months of daily reading. It just kept giving me more and more information, and vivid descriptions of elements. The amount of content in this novel is absurd. When I was reading it, I felt like I was living it. The characters and personalities, enemies and rivals, world design and circumstances, and generally the over-the-top epicness portrayed by the protagonist are amazing. Number 6. The legendary Moonlight Sculptor. This novel is extremely underrated in my opinion. It has a great story. The main character is hilariously entertaining and clever. Reading the various adventures and the personal development of the main character is truly enjoyable. That's why I highly recommend it to you. Number 5. The Legendary Mechanic. If I wanted to describe this novel with one word, would say, fantastic. The main character is super good. I like his attitude especially for his leaks. The fact that the main character is not that op, but instead every time he fights, he either wins, or if he loses, he still manages to gain big profit from it. There are also some interstellar battles in this story that are freaking awesome, but the downside is that with some system information about the quest, his items won't show up completely. Besides that, you still understand this novel, and I bet you do not regret reading it. Number 4. Super God Gene. I've just finished reading the X chapter, so far so good. I really love the way the story goes so far, and that Han Sen is cool-headed and smart. The one thing I dislike about this story is that how difficult it is for him to gain power, but, near the end, he levels up quite fast, so I guess that would be fine. Number 3. SSS-Class Suicide Hunter. Well, I've completed the novel and in my opinion, I think this novel is one of the best action Korean web novels. The story of this novel is about human emotions. The way the author describes scenes and verbalizes the pain that people go through is exquisite. The words he uses to indicate the struggles that people deal with are simply breathtaking. The comic parts are all excellent and the sad parts will bring tears to your eyes. The side characters are all fully developed, making them empathetic and their actions understandable. Some of them have secrets that will shock you. And the main character, you will love this man, he can be humorous and serious whenever necessary. Of course, the novel is not perfect. There are some implausible events, the ones that are the result of poorly thought out scenarios. In fact, the author had to rewrite a few chapters because the situation presented there was so rubbish that the readers unanimously agreed that this was one of the worst arcs he has ever written. But again, the text manages to cover up most of the mistakes. In conclusion, I strongly recommend you to read this novel because I guarantee you will love this novel. Number 2. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. I started reading this book thinking it would be just another power fantasy of a writer transmigrated into a book using his knowledge to become overpowered. However, this book surprised me in the best way. I love that this novel goes deep into the meta concept of the reader, the writer, and the story, drawing influences from history and mythology, and it really digs into the cognitive dissonance of being transported into a fictional world, and what separates a character from a person. The absolute foreground of this book is the slow-burn rivals to friends interaction between the main character, Kim Dokja, and the novel's original protagonist, Yoo Jong-hyuk. They start grudgingly using each other for pragmatic reasons while thinking very little of the other person. Throughout events, they eventually come to trust and admire each other, still grudgingly of course, until they would willingly die for each other. "Only I can kill him" is literally my favorite trope in this type of dynamic, and Yoo Jong-hyuk declares this at one point. The supporting characters are charismatic as well, especially those who fall into complicated gray areas. I initially had no good feelings about Han Soo-young at all, but by the end of the book, she becomes a great favorite of mine. And the group Kim Dokja gathers around him becomes a very dysfunctional but amusing family. The plot becomes increasingly complicated as things go on with higher stakes and more terrifying large-scale fights, maybe even a little too much, but I personally enjoyed how everything tied together through the epilogues. It's extremely mind-bending and at the same time satisfying. I highly recommend this book to anyone who's looking for a well-plotted isekai or portal fantasy with humor, interesting dynamic relationships between the characters that evolve over time, and a heavy dose of meta about what it means to be a reader and a writer. Number 1. The beginning after the end. The first thing to be noted is that this series follows the literary style of Japanese web novels. That means the fourth wall is broken a lot and the characters will make side comments directly to the reader. Overall, it is a lot like a blog or a diary. That's why you'll see things like the author's point of view when different characters narrate the novel. The storytelling itself is a mix of wuxia/xianxia and Japanese, meaning there are things like ki cores and absorbing energy from the atmosphere, but instead of ki, it's mana. If you are not used to these styles, this book would be difficult for you to read and comes off as amateurish and low quality. If you are used to it, the reading will go smoothly, and you'll find yourself laughing at the humor quite easily. I found the multiple first-person perspectives annoying at first, but once I got used to them, it did move the story along and, by the time I finished the first book, I got hooked on the series. Book 4 left a huge cliffhanger and I was worried there wouldn't be a book 5. But it finally showed up and it was a great addition to the series. Basically, the story has two alternative Earths, with two different realities. On the first Earth, the king, who got to be king by martial prowess, dies and is reborn on the second Earth with full memories and martial skills, but the second Earth has different physics. He gets to grow up again with full adult knowledge. Folks learn quickly you don't pick on this kid, but then having a girlfriend his own age presents unique challenges. The writer did a good job saving it from becoming uncomfortably weird. That's it for this video. Please note that this list is only based on my opinion and is not an absolute truth. We would love to read your opinions in the comments section, and if you liked this video, please take a moment to smash the like button and subscribe. We also have selected 2 of our best related videos.